Hey everyone, we'll be starting shortly. Okay, that's all good. That's saved. I can close that. Connection seems stable. Everything seems fine. So, hi everyone. Welcome to another stream of the Phoenix Wright Trilogy. Where we had left off last time, we had ended up seeing that a possible woman that should be dead might still be alive. However, upon meeting her, while she did act strange, she didn't acknowledge that she knew who she was other than knowing our name. So she's hiding something. Also, her hair is a different color. It's brown instead of red, which is odd, but she might have just dyed her hair. Granted, she is supposed to be in prison if it's supposed to be Melissa Foster or whatever her name was. And after that, we were given a hat or whatever you call it for protection. And then everything went to pot. The nice writer woman who was there got stabbed by a statue. The bridge got set on fire, and Phoenix tried to rush over to try and save Maya stupidly and fell into the river, never to be seen again. We are about to start off the next part and see where that goes from there. So, without further ado, let us begin today's stream. Nothing's ever easy for Phoenix, is it? It gets more and more reckless as time goes on. Like, this wasn't even a smart move. You got to figure that with a bridge on fire, it's not going to be able to be stood on for a bit. You know, it's going to collapse under your own weight because it's on fire. You probably wouldn't... Like, that bridge was like a good... I wouldn't say a mile long, but at least a good, 30 feet. So, it's a good 30 foot long. And it would have taken a while to get across that. One end was burning. It's made out of wood and rope, which is flammable. By the time he would have gotten halfway across, if he didn't collapse straight through it, the ropes would have burned through. But that's just me. Anyway, refresh. Yep. Showing up on there, sounds like picked up, we're all good. Alright, continue. Let's see what we can do today. Date unknown. Time and location also unknown. Who could that be at this time of night? Yes, Edra speaking. Edgy, get up! It's an emergency! Huh? Larry? Do you know what time it is? I'm trying to do a posh voice who's waking up, which is kind of hard. It's not Larry, it's Maurice. Maurice, don't him. This is nothing more than a terrible nightmare. I'll just roll over and... Oh, wait, don't hang up. It's an emergency. It's Nick. He took a really nasty spill. Well, it wouldn't be the first time, so... I'm not joking, his life is in danger. What? What happened? Tell me. Talk about a guy with a bad luck. Might already be dead. Anyway, you've got to come back. You're the only one who can help. I'm surprised that he's just like, he might already be dead. Anyway, come over here. My Iris, my beautiful Iris, she needs help. All right, I don't know what's going on, but I'll be there as soon as I can. I'm at the detention center. Please, hurry. It's been 1 year since I left that country. I thought I wouldn't have to see him again for a while. He left the country? Sounds like it won't be a pretty reunion, as if I'd expect anything to change. 2:19 p.m. You're late, Edgy. What took you so long? I don't want to hear it. I chartered a private jet just to come so as quickly as I could. But you should have chartered a faster one. Anyway, just listen. Something happened. Listen. Huh? Say something, Edgy. I didn't get a chance to read any of that. That went by way too fast. Before I came here, I stopped by the hospital and paid Wright a visit. I believe I had a better understanding of the situation than you at this point. The murder victim was the picture book author, Miss Elise Denim. She was found by Wright and the head nun. I suspect the temple's younger nun. Or the suspect. And then later, while Wright was crossing the bridge, it broke and he fell into the river. And the hospital says that he'll need at least 2 days of rest. Yes, that's right. You got it. But they arrested her, my sweet little Iris. And here I was convinced he was the one the police had arrested. However, I still don't understand what these two items are for. What are you talking about? They're things Wright gave to me when I was leaving his room. This is the first. He said some nonsense about being able to see into people's hearts with this. And the other, he couldn't possibly be asking what I think he is, could he? Begging you, Iris' trial starts tomorrow. With Nick out of the picture, you're all I've got left. You know, we can't trust any other defense attorney. You're the only one that can represent her. What did you just say? You know, represent, defend. What were you expecting? Why do you think I called you anyway? I'm a prosecutor, Larry. A prosecutor. Do you understand what I'm saying? A prosecutor is a lawyer who... Don't talk to me like a kid. I graduated from junior high, you know. Yeah, you graduated from school. Don't worry about it. I promise I won't tell. But I mean, I heard a paper badge had no problems fooling an entire court before. How could this country's judicial system have fallen into such decay? Please, Edgy, at least listen to her. Listen to Iris' side of the story. So Wright wasn't joking when he gave me this badge after all. Oh man, it's annoying every single time I have to try and recall how a voice is done. Thank you for coming. My name is Iris. Edgeworth, Miles Edgeworth. I don't know if I can be of any help, but I will at least hear what you have to say about the murder. Mr. Wright, how is he? Mr. Larice said that he might even die. Fortunately, he'll be fine. Larry, you moron. How could you say something like that? He was badly bruised when he hit the water, but otherwise he is unharmed. My goodness. But he's caught some kind of nasty cold. Wow. The best they could do to make him have like an injury from it is to be sick, rather than actually, you know, breaking an arm or something. A cold? He's running a high fever and is drifting in and out of consciousness. That's a strong cold if it's doing that. I've never been taken out by a cold like that. I must be imagining things. This woman, I feel like I've met her before. Let's see what he has to say about this. The camera is glaring at me. If someone glares at you, it is only polite to return a favor, is what I was taught. Is something bothering you? Oh, excuse me. I'm just imagining, like, Edgeworth pulling his usual angry face. The god is glaring at me. So glares at you, it's only right to return what I taught. Are you alright, Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, excuse me. Just glare at the police officer. Pardon me, Iris. I would like to ask you something, if you don't mind. I have the distinct feeling you and I have met before. It must be your imagination, Mr. Edgeworth. After all, I hardly ever leave Hazakura Temple. Hazakura Temple? What's that? It's a place where those who wish to boost their spiritual power come to train. You need to undergo some very difficult training to release your inner spiritual power. Spiritual power? Did you go to the temple for that reason as well? No, I don't have any spiritual powers. I don't need them. In that case, what were you doing at the temple then? I've committed some sins that I need to pay for. That's why I'm there and why I continue to train. I need to purify my soul. Okay. I want to ask you about last night, the night of the crime. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but yeah. Alright. I helped to clean up after dinner and then went to my room about 8 p.m. Later, I left my room to ring the lights out bell at 10 p.m. Bell? Ring it at the same time each night. I see. And then I was told to go to the training hall, but I went back to my room and stayed there. Why didn't you go to the training hall like you were asked to? I was frightened. Frightened? So I just stayed in my room until I stayed in my room and meditated until the murder happened. There's more to her story. I just know there is. Maybe I should dig a little deeper. You were asked to go to the training hall on the night of the murder? Yes. However, you didn't go because you said you were frightened. What exactly were you so frightened of? Edgeworth just being able to see this. What in the world? Is there something wrong? I'm sorry, it's nothing. It looks like she's not aware of them herself. These must be what Wright was talking about, the psycho locks. I believe he said that I need to present this Magatama item to do something. I'm surprised he didn't freak out a lot more, like he just like backflips out of his chair. He's like, what the hell? He apparently becomes someone from America to the south. So do you have any idea as to why or what really occurred that last night? I think it was the result of the tremendous spiritual power that was unleashed. Spiritual power? Yes, spiritual training has been a cause behind many great tragedies. This incident was just another example. Iris, I'm sorry, but I can't accept that. I'm a man of science. I don't believe in spiritual power. I'm a lawyer, not a doctor or a spiritualist. Yes, I understand. Most people don't. And I'm certain that the thing that killed the victim was a human. So please, answer me this simple question. Were you the one who killed the Estonian? No. I'm not the one who took her life. Those psycho-lock things aren't appearing. I suppose that means I can believe that she's not lying. What's wrong? I can't believe what I'm thinking. And here I just finished saying that I don't believe in spiritual power. It appears that that's all you can tell me. Oh god, having to do a posh voice so long is going to be not annoying, but difficult, I guess. Thank you very much for listening to my story. I visited Wright at the hospital before coming here. He asked me to take care of you. Me? Yes, at the trial tomorrow, he asked me to defend you. I has that much faith in you, Mr. Edgeworth, and I will gladly entrust my fate to your capable hands. But before that, I have one question. Yes? Do you know Wright? Why do you ask that? Whenever you came up in our conversation, you would begin to act a little strange. Mr. Edgeworth, what is Mr. Wright to you? He is a very dear and indispensable friend. He said it! He said the thing. Not in front of Wright. He actually called him a friend. I don't think he would actually say it to his face, though. But even now he lies. He actually loves him. I wish he was with me all the time, but I had to move away. It was 5 years ago. That's when I deceived him. You deceived him? I heard that he was in a lot of pain afterwards because of what happened. I know what a weak person I am. That's why I thought it was best if he never saw me again. I wanted him to just forget about me without learning the truth. Well, if you ask me, Wright is still suffering. And until he learns the truth, I don't think he will ever be able to truly recover. Iris, it's not too late. He almost died, man. You should tell him now. You should go to him. You tell him the truth. I'll defend you, but only if you agree to that one condition. All right, Mr. Edgeworth. I promise. Very well. I'll do everything in my power to get you an acquittal. Can you just do that? Go from prosecutor to defense? That's enough information gathering for now. I should head to the crime scene. What about showing here the Magatama? Is that an attorney's badge? Yes, this belongs to Wright. Really? I'm actually a prosecutor. Oh, then why do you have a defense attorney's badge planned on your pin on your belt? Well, you see, I borrowed it. Who is this woman on the hanging scroll? Well, I don't know the details, but I've heard she's the master of the Korean channeling technique. Master? Yes, Mystic May. Or Mystic Misty. Why did I say Mystic May? She was a great spirit medium. That's what I've heard. I've also heard that she went missing over 15 years ago. Spirit mediums. There's no such thing anyway. Mr. Edgeworth? I know all about them. They're nothing but frauds. She doesn't know anything about it, of course. But there was a time 17 years ago when I met the master myself. He actually does hold a grudge against spirit mediums. This is actually the first time it's come up. Like, you'd think that he would do that a lot against Maya, but in this one instance, he can't hold back his prejudices against the mysticals. That's called a demon warding hood. I gave that to Mr. Wright last night. He was wearing this when I saw him at the hospital today. It's an important item of protecting acolytes from evil spirits. If it's so important, then why did you give it to him? Last night, I felt something. I felt that something terrible was about to happen. I didn't want Mr. Wright to fall into its grip. Well, he wound up falling into something much deeper and colder. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, though. Thank God for inner monologue. It's like he's congratulating himself. It's like, good job, me, for saying that inside my mind. Whereas Wright would probably just be like, man, it would suck if this didn't work. I'm sorry, I don't leave the temple grounds very often, so I don't know very much about the outside world. This is literally a map of your place. I was against the idea of our temple appearing in that magazine. I was afraid that this type of tragedy might occur. In that case, why did you allow them to run an article about you? It was Sister Bikini. She's actually rather fond of detention. Surprisingly so. She certainly looks rather happy in this photo. That's Mystic Elise Donim. She's a picture book author, or so I've heard. Does she come to the Tezakura temple often? No, this is her first time. It's just that she was a very important visitor. Is that so? Yeah, Sister Bikini told me be certain not to offend her. The victim, Miss Elise Donim. The prosecutor's office still doesn't have much information about her, it seems. Mr. Wright, how bad is his cold? Well, his fever is very high. As a result, he's rather confused. He's worried about Maya, who is still trapped in the inner temple. And he's quite worried about you as well, it seems. Really? Yes. Naturally, once he recovers, I'll pass the baton back to him. No, don't. I'm sure that Mr. Wright wouldn't want that. He wouldn't want to defend me. I mean... Wright would just defend anyone. He defended a freaking thief, so, you know. Oh, that's Mr. Lorice. I'm sorry, what did you say it was? Lorice Donim. He's Mystic Elise's apprentice, I think. Alright, now who exactly is this guy? He's a very sincere, hard-working person. Did I say something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Excuse me, I was temporarily at loss for words. Take a trip, come home, be thrust suddenly into the bizarro world? You know, I'm wondering if it's like his poshness comes out more when he gets more agitated. So like he talks sort of normal for like when he's calm, but when he gets like excited or, you know, annoyed or something, he like gets really, really posh. Oh, poppycock. Because he does say stuff like that when he gets like agitated, so. That Mr. Elise Donim. She's a picture book author. I've already talked about this. You want to know about me? There's not much to tell, I'm afraid. Just get one thing straight. You were raised at Hazakura Temple, correct? And yet somehow you seem to know right. So you two must have crossed paths somewhere. No, Mr. Edgeworth, whomever it was, it couldn't have been me. What is that supposed to mean? Alright, I don't have any information, so there's no real point looking at it, but I'm interested to see what his reaction is. But we'll probably have to come back anyway at some point, so... Suspension bridge. Wait a minute, that wasn't there in the screenshot. Those are very badly placed, and I don't mean as in, like, whoever put them there in character has done them wrong. I mean as in, like, whoever placed them in development-wise did not do it properly, because they just look like they're flat against something that is supposed to be at an angle. Plus, it doesn't have any shadows. It's literally just like a PNG on top of that. It looks off. It's sure cold, all right. So this is it, Dusky Bridge. I don't know who this is yet, so I'm just going to do it normal. Oh, wow, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. Long time no see. It's been about a year, or has it been longer? It doesn't matter, Detective. What does matter is why you're shuffling up here. Ow, ouch. And there's that sharp left jab. Well, I'm happy to see you anyway, Mr. Edgeworth. Let me guess. You're transferred by HR to the local precinct? A wise decision. The vast amount of nothing up here should be quite easy to guard. I heard you were back in the country and arranged to come all the way out here. Everybody was real nice. They even let me take charge of the investigation, sir. Gumshoe indeed. That gum on your shoe he's impossible to get rid of. I'm supposed to report on the details of the crime scene, sir. Anyway, here I am, Detective Dick Gumshoe, reporting for duty. Great. Thank you, Detective. I thought Prosecutor Godot was going to get here before me. That guy's a real mystery, I tell you. Prosecutor Godot? I just got back into the country, so I don't really know much about the case. It's simple. Well, simple as simple does, as they say. Oh, it's Edgeworth. Whatever. Oh, you've got no idea how much I miss that biting sarcasm of yours, sir. But seriously, this one's a piece of cake. There's a witness that saw the whole thing. A witness? Yeah, that bikini lady. Bikini lady? Here? On this freezing cold mountain? Well, you should talk to her yourself if you want the details, sir. I may have to talk to this bikini lady. I mean, decisive witness myself. So this bridge that Wright fell through... Well, this is the bridge. Yep, I can't imagine being that reckless myself. Look before you cross is how it goes, right? Or was that leap? And? Is there something on the other side? Yeah, some old building they called the Inner Temple. We can't get over there without a bridge, sir. What? Nobody lives there, so it's usually not a problem. But someone was at the Inner Temple doing some training and now they're stuck there. Yes, I heard from Wright. It's Maya Fey. Oh no, her again? Anyway, the air's really turbulent right now, so we can't do an aerial extraction. Is it? It looks normal to me. No one's going to be able to reach the inner temple until tomorrow, sir. Well, should be alright in the cold. So how does this bridge burn down anyway? We were almost sure it was 100% lightning. Lightning? So who is this Prosecutor Doe? I've never heard of him. Yeah, he's a new guy. Shut up after you left the country. He's a complete rookie, but nobody can say a bad word about the guy. What kind of man is he? He just became a prosecutor recently, but he's good, sir. Real good. If he's so good, how is it that I've never heard of him? Is he the lead prosecutor on this case? You bet he is. After all, you know who is right in the middle of it. You know who? Phoenix Wright, of course. For some reason, Godot has really got it out for Mr. Wright. Oh? Yeah, he seems to have some kind of grudge. And what would be the cause of this grudge? I don't know. Maybe he's made fun of his mask or something? None of this is making any sense. I better look into this Godot myself. Finally, someone's looking into the guy. You're telling me the bridge caught on fire due to a fluke bolt of lightning? Yep. Last night it snowed for the first time in 3 days. It's a little unusual for lightning to occur during a snowfall like that. But according to the weather data, lightning definitely struck. Weather data added to the record. I see. This is a very detailed weather report. Almost too detailed. It even has the exact time that the lightning struck the bridge. All that? We got the information from the witness testimony. Someone actually saw the lightning hit the bridge? Who was this witness? Sorry, I'll ask to one of the local cops later, sir. Huh? What's that thing doing on your lapel, Mr. Edgeworth? Is it really that odd? You bet it is, sir. A prosecutor wearing a defense attorney's badge? That's like a detective with a license to kill. Does this little thing hold that ominous of a meaning? Have you ever seen this thing before? Hey, thanks a lot. I was getting kind of hungry. Chomp. Hey, don't eat it! Oh, what are you doing, detective? I thought it was some kind of candy that would fill me up, sir. Lately, I've been feeling so hungry all the time. Maybe his salary has been cut just a little bit too much. Finally, he actually realizes that he's been cutting his salary too much. Literally, he's being paid nothing at this point. Look, I'm just your everyday, simple detective. Don't ask me such tough questions, okay? That's not something to be proud of, detective. Whoops. There's a lot we don't know about this victim. We don't know her real name, her background, we don't know her anything, really. That's rather odd. If she was trying to hide her identity, why would she become an author? I bet it was just one of those things. You know, she probably never expected to get so popular. Maybe. Whenever something happens, this guy always shows up like he hasn't got a care. In fact, you know what? Every time he shows up, I always wonder the same thing. Maybe somehow he actually caused the cause of all these incidents. I wonder if Gumshoe has realized it yet. But you could say the exact same thing about him. Your face is more drawn out than the last time I saw you over a year ago. Really? I thought so. No, wait. It's not so much drawn out as weary and tired, or maybe just plain old thin. Thought that too, sir. My salary's been kinda on the low end. So yeah, my food options have been kinda non-existent. Off-brand chicken soup, off-brand spaghetti, off-brand bread, that sort of stuff. I thought you were really into instant noodles last year. Well, that's because he could afford them then. I really got sick of the stuff after a while, sir. He's supposed to be Mr. Leeston's apprentice or something. I see. Yeah, he drew a nice portrait of me. That's nice, but he made me pay 50 cents for it. I'm sorry about that. You don't seem very interested in him, Mr. Edgeworth. I really don't want to talk about him, that's why. I feel like I've seen this girl somewhere before. She wasn't from a prior case, was she? Nope, can't be. You did a database search for her fingerprints and came up with nothing. I see. I just can't shake this nagging feeling. Well, everyone knows that you are quite popular with the ladies, sir. Maybe she's an old girlfriend that you sent to Dumpsville when you were younger. Wow. Detective, where did you hear such nonsense from? I didn't hear it from anyone. It's just sort of how I imagine you to be, sir. Do I really inspire that sort of frothing desire from the female masses? Why does he say it like that? Way to be so pretentious that even in your mind you say it like this. I usually hear about promising young prosecutor candidates while they're still in school, but I've never seen or heard of this person. Gotta admit, he's puzzling, all right. He just appeared one day, big mug of steaming coffee in his hand. He sounds like an interesting man. Yeah, the whole prosecutor's office is really into double espresso macchiatos lately. There's a little shack down that way called Heavenly Hall. A shack? It's like a rundown doghouse for losers that can't bear the fleeting drafts of winter. What the hell, Gumshoe? Kinda reminds me of my apartment, sir. The name Heavenly Hall makes it sound like a palace. Giving a hall a great name is a crime itself. I'd call it false advertising. By the way, the name of my apartment complex is Compton Castles. That's not such a great name if you ask me. Well, it's not such a great apartment either, sir. So this is the bridge that Wright tried to cross? Pretty reckless if you ask me. I'm amazed he survived to fall from here. Yeah, he's one of the lucky guys, sir. I see how he manages to win his court cases and land luck. I think dumb luck better suit Wright just a little bit better. Hey, don't just be mean. I mean, it's true. Some letters are wildly engraved into a rough-cut boulder. Dusky Bridge. Certainly an appropriate name. Need to get some glasses, Mr. Edgeworth. That sign says Dusty Bridge. I can't see how you read it wrong, though, sir. Or I can see. You're the one who needs glasses, detective. Try reading it one more time. Ah, you're right. It's Dusky Bridge, after all. After all. I guess whoever wrote this made a mistake. Hey, it's a public phone. You don't see a lot of these anymore. That's true. Since we got one here, why don't we make a photo of this with as a memento? Well, sure. Well, why not? Oh, darn it. I don't have a camera with me. I'm gonna go buy a disposable camera. I'll be right back, sir. What's so special about public phones, and why is he so fascinated by them? Also, why doesn't he just use his mobile? Looks like a pretty good distance to that cliff. Or far cliff. Yeah, it's gotta be around 100 yards or so. Detective, that's not even close to 100 yards. Well, I gotta admit, I'm not very good at judging distances. It's about 20 yards or so, and impossible to cross without a bridge, it seems. Yards is not that long. Like, feet would be longer. If I have to play Edgeworth for a long time, I don't think I can handle speaking his voice for that long. No, not in the detention center. It looks like Iris is being interrogated right now. This place certainly brings back memories. Why are you following me? Oh yeah, come to think of it, you got thrown in here once too, didn't you, sir? But you know what? I've never been in a jail a single time. I should think it's hard to land in jail when you're so harmless. Yes, well, if you're in jail, you don't have to pay for your own meals, you know. Oh, doing that gasp actually hurt. Because I had something in my throat at the same time I coughed. Don't get any funny ideas, detective. Too late, I already did. In any case, I guess I'll have to come back later. Now main gate. Hold on a minute, that isn't covered in snow. Yo, Edgy, what took you so long? I'm so cold, my brain's turned to sherbet. How? That's not how it works. It'd be better to say that your brain has become ice. That would make more sense. Sherbet is a sweet that is manufactured. Oh, whatever. I knew it was a mistake to race back to this country. What do you mean? Wright is going to be fine and the case itself isn't anything unusual. And I find myself taking a request to defend a woman accused of murder. Hey, wait a sec. Hold it. Objection. What's going on here, Mr. Edgeworth? It's hard to explain, but one thing led to another, and... What kind of lame excuse is that? And you call yourself a defense attorney? Prosecutor Edgeworth is a prosecutor. That's why he's Prosecutor Edgeworth. Prosecutor Edgeworth, defense attorney. Sounds just plain old weird, pal. Right, Prosecutor Edgeworth? I'm not sure what role I'm supposed to be playing anymore. Dude, Edgy. I don't see you for a couple of years and your heart turns to sherbet. I'd rather say more like sorbet. It's rather cold up here. Iris didn't murder her. Someone else did it. I just know it, okay? So just trust me on this one. Ever the romantic, aren't you, Larry? Nevertheless, I'll do whatever I can to prove her innocence. At least until I pass the baton on to Wright, that is. Beep boop. Beep boop beep boop. This weight looks quite old. Strong enough to resist the weight of time. That's Mr. Edgeworth, I know. You got a real flat for words, sir. I'll have always appreciated this kind of old-timers elegance. That's exactly how I feel, too. Take this coat, for example, like a fine wine, it gets better with age. Even fine wine turns to vinegar and begins to stink at some point. I suggest you wash that atrocious rag you call a coat, detective. Who washes coats? I've never washed a coat in my life. I can see a small bell tower from here. Hey, I just reminded me, there's something I've got always wondered about. Something tells me he's going to tell me what's on his mind, whether I like it or not. We call a person who tells a liar, right? So why don't we call a bell a person who rings a bell a beller? Or a truer, for a guy who tells the truth. Oh man, I'm not going to get any sleep tonight. I had no idea he was such a deep thinker. You know, I didn't think that Edgeworth would have his own Maya in Gumshoe. I suppose this type of thing is necessary up here in the mountains. Say, this just gave me a great idea. Something tells me he's going to tell me. I have an idea for a brand of new invention. It might even make me rich. An invention? Yeah, a car that can travel on snow. I call it a snow car. So what do you think, sir? Would you like to go for a ride on something like that? Only after you take a first 1,000 test rides. That must be the main hall back there. Brilliant introduction, sir. Were you trying to flatter me, Detective Gumshoe? A brilliant use of suspense to build attention, sir. According to Wright, the head nun has some important information. I can't miss the opportunity to speak with her. Man, I'm telling you, Iris is so cute. Right, Edgy, you think so too, don't you? What's wrong? Why are you so quiet? To put it simply, your comment has me slightly concerned, or highly concerned. Could it be that the reason you think she's innocent? Come on, a girl that cute can't possibly be a murderer. I was right after all. I should never have come back. No, don't worry. I see things for how they really are this time, honest. I had a penny for every time he said that. It's just that, well, Iris is a delicate flower. You can't force things too much. Know what I mean? Huh? I have no idea what you're talking about, Larry. Oh, forget it. I didn't say anything. Larry, where were you and what were you doing on the night of the crime? Larry? What? Don't tell me. You think I might have done it? What? Get lost. Go back to your charter jet and get out of my sight, you creep. And I hope your plane crashes and you die. Wow, Butts. Wow. I'll ask just one more time. On the night of the murder, where were you and what were you doing? Why? As I suspected, psycho locks. I'm sorry, man. You know me, I just don't remember. My short-term memory's a wreck, dude. Uh-huh. Come to think of it, when you were a kid, you were always saying, when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer and defend people, or something like that. But that was a long time ago. But see, now you got the chance to follow your boyhood dream for a day. Edgy, you gotta do it. You gotta save my little Iris. Grr, this is exactly why I hate childhood friends. Yeah, I may not look it, but I'm an artist. I refuse to look at anything that doesn't have a radiant or beautiful motif. Which I just showed you, but whatever. You didn't even give it a glance. Still can't believe it. She was such a great person. But someone's spinning a ping the murder on my sweet little Iris. Edgy, please. I'm counting on you. Well, frankly, I was hoping you could give me a little more than that. Well then, I got it. I'll draw you a portrait. How about that? Since you're kind enough to offer, all right. He was a good guy, a real pal to the end. When I look back now, I have nothing but good memories. What's with this in the past tense? He's not dead, you know. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, the guy owes me after all. I saved his life. What is that supposed to mean? If I hadn't called for help so quickly, he would have died. It's no surprise, though. I used to be a security guard. It was all instinct, baby. He has a point. He called me pretty quickly, too. I think Larry's pretty good at motivating people. I just wish he would try motivating himself once in a while. So you're saying he should be a motivational speaker? Huh? Me? All you have to know is to remember not to call me Larry anymore. What? I'm a new person now. I've been reborn as Larice Donim. Alright, fine. Let me ask you something else then, Larry. Call me Larice. If you don't, then I'll call you Melise Donim. I have a feeling that she's hiding something. Could be. After all, she's shy and gets embarrassed easily. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Well, why not? Look, I know all about this kind of thing. Come on, Edgy. You were a guy once. Lots of girls are like Iris. You know I'm right. Well, you most certainly seem to have convinced yourself. Man, I just like shy girls like her. It's so cute. You know what I mean? Still doesn't listen to others, I see. I guess some people never change. Alright, well, time to move on. Main hall. Well, that wasn't there. Hey, hello there. So how are you feeling? Alright, I suppose. Who's this? My name is Miles Edgeworth. My. A handsome young boy such as yourself is always welcome here. I've forgotten how to do this voice already. If circumstances weren't so tragic, I might just... Please don't call me boy. I'm sorry to trouble you, but I'm looking for a woman in a bikini. Well, you found her. Now, what can I do for you? I'm sorry, but I don't see any bikinis. If you ask nicely, I might give you a peek, boy. Yeah. Mr. Edgeworth? This is the head, nun. Sister Bikini, she's the witness. Why didn't you tell me that earlier? This is exactly why your salary keeps getting cut. My stomach is already growling in protest. So, what's the latest about my beloved Iris? Well, first, I want to hear what you know. Square. There's more Enzo cushions in the corner of the room. What's that white piece of paper sticking out from under the stack? Beats me. Would you mind checking that for me, Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir. Here you are, Mr. Edgeworth. It looks like an old manila envelope. Yeah! What is it, Detective? This could be it! An ultra-important clue! A super special clue! I suppose I should read it myself, then. Looks like a letter addressed to Sister Iris. Tonight at 10 at Heavenly Hall, unless you want your secret to be exposed. This sounds like a blackmail letter. Maybe she dropped it? Maybe. Let's go in there, Mr. Edgeworth. Why can't I ever find clues like that? You're an ultra-important prosecutor, a super-duper prosecutor. Well, I suppose it takes a super-duper kind of dumb to miss this kind of clue. Also, it didn't look anything like that when I clicked on it. It looked like a simple piece of paper, but it turns out it's a whole envelope. That thing sure casts a strong presence over the whole room. this is the Lesser Magatama. It's a precious heirloom containing a great many souls. Huh? This is lesser? Then what is greater one like? The greater Magatama is displayed on the main room of Fane Manor. It's supposed to be a show of the treasures of Crane exhibit. But it was so large that they couldn't bring it through the doors. It's an altar with a giant Magatama enshrined on it. There are a lot of candles lined up on it too. You know, I haven't had a birthday party for myself in a while. Maybe you should blow out those candles over there to make up for that. Mr. Edgeworth, would you mind singing happy birthday to me? Stop that! Cut it out! Please don't blow out the altar candles! Oh, it's a warm cat box. But where are all the cats? It's called a hibachi it's for the heating the room. Oh, look at all those ancient straw fishies. Those are a type of Zabuton cautions called Enza. Why are you giving me such a hard time? Mr. Edgeworth, why? Because learning something new might actually be a good thing for you, detective. There's flowing script written everywhere on the walls. Man, I bet you'd have awful nightmares if you tried to sleep in there. This is our main hall, so it's protected by a variety of special magic spells and charms. They're all designed to prevent evil forces from entering. So if I slept here, the Oogie Woogie Boogeyman wouldn't hurt me down for eternity? Alright. Does this guy ever think about anything other than eating and sleeping? Well, seeing as he's denied it, yes. You be denied food and sleep because you can't get enough money. First, I'd like to ask about last night. Well, last night, we had an acolyte here for training. After dinner, the two of us went to the training hall in the temple. Inner temple. Must be talking about Maya. Approximately what time was that? I suppose it was around 9 when we left here. Training lasted all night long. It's extremely exhausting. The channeling dojo's head nun must be in attendance at all times to keep watch. Wow, you're right. That does sound exhausting. Detective, this is no time for flattery. Sorry. Sometime around 11, you witnessed the incident in the courtyard. But your duty was in the inner temple. Why did you come back here? The way you're staring at me, I'm starting to get goosebumps. Ugh. Starting to get goosebumps myself, but for a decidedly different reason. Oh, you get the chills pretty easy, don't you, Mr. Edgeworth? Alright then, I'd like you to tell me exactly what you saw in the courtyard. Must have been past 11. No, I can't say it. It's too much of my poor heart. Hey, calm down, lady. Hey, let go of my tie. I thought you were going to show her stabbing him. I saw two people. One of them was lying on the ground. The other one was stabbing her from the back with a sword. You see this criminal with your own eyes? I don't want to believe what I was seeing, but it was Iris. You must have been quite shocked. Of course she was. Try putting yourself in her shoes. It'd be like you were stabbing Mr. Wright smack in the middle of a courtroom. And I happened to witness it from the witness stand. I'd be pretty shocked too. I know it sounds insane, but that's what I saw. And when I finally realized what I was seeing, I screamed and then I passed out. Unfortunately for us, her testimony seems to be pretty solid. However, the idea of Iris doing something so foul seems unnatural. Unnatural? The girl I know simply isn't capable of such as foulness. I wonder what she means by that. As the head nun, is it your duty you're to stay with the acolyte at all times, correct? Yes, that's correct. I know I may look strong, but the truth is, I've got a bad lower back. A bad lower back? Yes, it's especially bad in the winter, so bad that I can't even lift a bucket. Do you remember how cold it was last night? My bad back felt as stiff as frozen glass. I just wanted to take a nice hot bath to ease my easy back. That's why I returned to the main hall. You left the disciple all alone? Don't be ridiculous, I would never do that. That's why I ordered Iris to the inner temple after she had rung the bell for lights out. Yes, but she never went to the inner temple, did she? She did. So did the head nun actually see Iris there? I think I better try to get some more details. So who is this acolyte who was to train at the inner temple? Her name is Maya Fey. I treated her very badly. I'm ashamed to say. And after she went through the trouble of signing up for the special course. Special course? It's a training session where you sit on the block for a spirit ice and chant 30,000 times. You don't really tell me that she's still doing that over at the inner temple, do you? Oh, no, no, no. Don't worry. No, of course not. You don't have to worry about that little one bit. Last night, we still hadn't started the training session itself. Well, that's good to hear. Oh, dear, dear. There's one thing I forgot to tell you. Uh-oh, I don't like the sound of this. Do you know that small girl? I believe she's Mystic Maya's little sister. Maya's little sister? Or Maya has a little sister? Oh, you mean Little Pearl? That's Maya's Faye's cousin. Little Pearl? I thought she was going to visit Mystic Elise after we finished with the clean dinner, but I haven't seen her at all since late last night. She's nowhere to be found. You mean she was with the victim? It's all my fault on my stupid creaky old back. The little girl who was the victim of the night of the murder is gone. As they say, the plot thickens. About this here. Oh, let me see. Well, as you may know, we tried to break our attachments to material worlds. I guess you could call me an immaterial girl. I guess she lives in an immaterial world, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? I want to get out of here. Well, look what you've found. That's the master of the crane channeling technique, Mr. Mystic Faye. Faye? It's been nearly 20 years since Mystic Faye's disappearance. Apparently, she was intended to pass on the master title to her daughter. Who is this daughter? Well, I myself am part of a branch of family of the Faye clan. Really? Wow. Why? But even I'm not privy to information concerning the main family. Well, that's a demon warning hood. Our clients are highly susceptible to possessions by evil spirits, you know. That's why we always wear these protection. Oh, I see. What are you waiting for? You won't get any protection just by holding it, you know. Put it on already. No, I can't. I was just... This angle was made just for you, Mr. Edgeworth. What do you mean by that, detective? Looks absolutely marvelous. You just got to keep it on for a while. Is this some sort of divine retribution? Oh, bugger. About this picture. Well, look at that. I look pretty so... Oh, S to the Xy, don't you think? Yeah, absolutely. Up until recently, we've been avoiding exposure to such magazines. But this time we had our reasons. Is that so? Well, why deny the world the sight of such a lovely face? Oh! How could such a terrible thing have happened? It's all my fault. Well, come on, ladies. Quiet. What do you know anyway? Ouch, you're scary. With that stupid 5 o'clock shadow and that stupid old coat of yours. It's too bad that you weren't the one that disappeared. Why did you have to take it out all on me? Our anger does seem a little manufactured. Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Immaterial girl, immaterial world. Do you know anything about this old, crumpled up letter? Is that addressed to Iris? Yep, it clearly says to Iris on it. Can't believe it. That girl doesn't have any secrets from me. Ah, so Sister McKinney didn't know anything about it. This man, his fate betrays the lives of suffering and great weariness of the world. Sure. But even so, I can't believe this guy actually jumped into the river. I think of all the fun things he might have had to enjoy if he had just lived. Relentless spirit training alone is no way to complete a life, huh? It sounds like she's got some major regret she's dealing with. Perhaps I should let Gumshoe explain Wright's situation to her for me. Hey, don't look at me like that. Do your own dirty work, sir. This Mystic Elise's apprentice, is it not? I think he might have a bit of crush on me. Sweet boy at any rate. Huh? Oh, I don't blame him. Sister Bikini understands the temptations of young men. Sure, but I'm afraid it wouldn't be proper to abuse my position. I'm a head nun after all. But in return, I did allow him to draw a portrait of me. I pray it was a pose that maintained your modesty for everyone's sake. No one wants to see you naked. You You said you went with Maya to the training hall in the inner temple last night. Did you happen to see Iris while you were there? Of course I saw her. I'd ordered to meet us after ringing the 10 o'clock bell for the lights out. So you're saying Iris came back to the inner temple then? Of course she did. Iris always been a good obedient girl. After that, I had Iris help Mystic Maya begin her training. But that doesn't fit with Iris' story at all. She said that she never went to the inner temple. As they say, the plot thickens. Do you know this guy in a mask? It's all my fault, me and my stupid back. Mystic Elise had been murdered and an important acolyte is trapped. And a little girl has been lost. You know, you really shouldn't be so negative. It creates bad karma. Quite right. I need to do some more training myself, I think. She's a very important visitor, you know. An honored acolyte. Honored? How so? The Fey name is synonymous with the Korean channeling technique. Therefore, she must be a spirit medium of great power indeed. And now that you mention it, 1 year ago, there was a case that was about the master of the Korean channeling technique. Detective, I detest talk of supernatural drivel. I suppose now you'll say that she has midichlorians? No, we never mentioned that. So it gives you the creeps, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? That's got nothing to do with it. Oh, this poor little girl. Where she could have gone? Well, we checked on her home and she's not there. And she's nowhere in the vicinity of the temple either. Which means there's only a few other possibilities as to where she could be. Ah, do you think maybe she fell off the bridge and was carried downstream? Wow, Gumshoe. Why do you have to be such a pessimist, detective? I was just trying to think like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Ironic, I became a pessimist only after I had the pleasure of working with you. That's the one of Very Clown's very own Megatamas. That's a priceless treasure you've got there. Wow, I'm impressed, sir. You never fail to surprise me. Yes, you don't look like it, but now I can see you're a real fan of the occult. Excuse me? Oh, of course, this piece couldn't possibly be real, but it has to have such a nice replica. Clearly, you are a big fan of the Korean tradition. Wow, I'm impressed, sir. You never fail to surprise me. I should know better than to show this thing around. Well, nothing else here to do. Let's go. Again, it's not easy sliding out a sword that's supposed to be in a statue's grip. You would have to, like, put it at an angle where you have to lift up the statue to pull out the sword. If you look at the length, it's in the floor. Literally, the sword is the same length as to the base, or it's long enough to reach the base of the statue, which is on the floor. So in order to get that, you would have to push the statue back, so then it lifts up, and then you can slide the sword out of its grip. And even then, the pommel would stop it. Anyway, and this is where the murder took place, sir. Other than removing the body, we left everything else untouched. Thanks, detective. I'll just have a look around. Looks like the police are still investigating. Oh yeah, by the way, I thought I'd better ask just to be sure. Are you really going to defend that nun, Iris, at the trial tomorrow? Yes, I will. I gave her my word and now must follow through on my commitment. Well, in that case, I've got to be careful. Got to make sure I don't leak the prosecution's whole investigation. Don't worry about it, detective. Just keep your mouth closed and I think most of it will flow out of its own. You got it, sir. I'll make sure it flows like water from a tap. Yes, you do that, detective. Just how much of you has your runny spout leaked out over the years? Bip, 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 bip. The victim is the famous picture author Miss Elise Lim. Her entire past up until she won that writing award last year is a total mystery. It's hard to believe in this day and age you can still find people like that. The estimated time of death of the victim was between 10 and 11 p.m. on Friday, February the 7th. I said Friday. Cause of death was blood loss resulting from a stab wound to the back of by the murder weapon. The murder weapon? The victim was found skewered with a giant sword, sir. That's terrible. Yeah, but there's one strange thing. Yes? The victim's entire body was covered with bruises. The bruises were consistent with falling from a height of a 2-story building. 2-story building? And that would be about the same height as that room in front of us, correct? Hey, you're right. Way to go, Mr. Edgeworth. That just happens to be the room that Mr. Lisa Dim was staying in. Or maybe she was pushed out of the window after she was stabbed by the sword. Or maybe she was pushed out of the window first and then she couldn't run away. And then she was stabbed. She's got to made it public after all so everyone can see. At least that's my assumption with that. I mean, at this point, you gotta, like, I know it might be a spoiler or something, but it's like, it's gotta be a point where it's obviously gonna be a female murder at this point. Because, literally, the only guys that are here are Wright and Larry. That's it. So it's gotta be one of the women. I'm gonna say it was Pearl. She's like, your new story's gonna involve someone dying? No! You must die. You can't kill off my favorite characters. And now then, Detective, let us see if we can summarize what we've learned so far. Okay, let's take a look at the map. According to the testimony of Sister Bikini, the head nun, right after they finished dinner, she and Maya Fey headed to the inner temple. Rather jerkily, too. Why do they go at a slower pace when going around corners like they're low frame? At 10 PM, after ringing the bell for lights out, Iris went to the inner temple. Whee! She's a lot faster. When she got there, Bikini had her take over while she went back to Hasakura Temple. After taking a hot bath to soothe her back, Sister Bikini witnessed the murder in the courtyard. If you want more details, you should ask Bikini herself in the main hall. The inner temple, huh? I'd like some more information about that place. The trial begins tomorrow, but who's the prosecutor? Pretty sure it's that Godot guy, but nobody can get a hold of him, so they're looking for a replacement. What do you mean? It's really weird. All of a sudden, no one can reach him. I wonder if the rumors are true. Maybe since Mr. Wright caught a cold and won't be defending, he just lost interest. I intend to appear in court in the role of defense attorney. However, I would be quite unhappy if you came out that I'm actually a prosecutor. Yeah, I can see why, but I'm not the one you have to worry about. I think the real problem is going to be that judge. He's always a stickler for the rules. Yes, he certainly would remember my face even after such a long absence. And that's why I requested another judge preside over the trial tomorrow. Oh, please don't be the annoying Scottish guy. I don't want him. We've only met each other once. There's a good chance he won't remember me at all. Yeah, but what about the prosecutor? Everyone in the prosecutor's office must know you. Wouldn't it be a problem if someone there made a big stink, sir? There's no need to worry. I pulled a few strings and arranged for a prosecutor of my own choosing. Wow, Mr. Edgeworth, I had no idea you had such a powerful string to pull. Oh, I might have an idea of who that might be. Oh well, we'll find out. What is this inner temple that Maya was supposedly training at? According to Bikini, it's an old building they use to train the acolytes. It's on the other side of Dusky Bridge. The bridge that burned down. Huh. Is there anything else on the other side of that bridge besides the inner temple? Nope, not a thing. Not even a mountain or a forest or anything. Just that building. Nothing. The other side is surrounded by cliffs on all sides. In a way, it's kind of like a little island out there. So the only thing there is that inner temple. I hear it's not the kind of place a person would survive in. Please be alright, Maya. He says that while smiling. No one can survive down there. It's a lantern. I suppose they light it at night. There's something elegant about the light of a fire. At the end of each month, I always like to relax in my room by candlelight. Detective, can you not afford to pay your electricity bill? How did you know? What's this? Looks like a wizard's staff. But that belonged to the victim, Miss Elise Nim. There's nothing strange or magical about it. Oh yeah, listen, this is just between us, okay, sir? Yes? What? This is top secret stuff, don't tell anyone about this. Alright. The truth is, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a wizard. That's it? That's what you wanted to tell me? That's it. The staff was made from a very strong kind of wood. What about the fingerprints? Were there any on it? Just the victims. Victim staff added. Well, it's already missing the ore, but I don't think Edgeworth would know that. Ah, I just love skiing. Really? You don't, seem like the type. Well, what about sleds? Sleds? Nah, they're a little too kidding, you know? Messes with my hard-boiled image. What's with the silence, Mr. Edgeworth? Is the world starting to go mad? The main gate must be over that stone wall. Ah, stone walls. I jumped over a few of those in my time. Most of them are good memories, but not all. Detective, perhaps someone should reintroduce you into the world of concert or paucity of words. But the stepladder! The stepladder! I guess they don't talk about it. That sucks. The main hall of Hazakura Temple is above us here. Hey, you're right. I'm pretty sure the main hall didn't have a second floor. Hazakura Temple was built on a steep part of the mountain. The front and back of the main hall are on different levels. Oh, that makes sense. But wouldn't it be easier to just build the place slanted, sir? I fail to see how we could consider that to even be remotely a good idea. Because then people without legs or with a disability will be able to go up them. So, the sword from this gold statue is actually the murder weapon? Sure is. It's called a Shishushito, by the way. Nasty piece of work, sir. There's still blood on it. I suppose it's the victim's blood. Yep, it's all over the blade. Speaking of all over the blade, there are fingerprints all over the hilt of the Shishushito too. You know, I've got to wonder now, how could you stab someone that far up the sword? Because the sword can't go that far because of the flame points, because they're not facing towards where you're striking. They're facing away, so they'd act more like a stop point. So really, you'd only be able to stab someone up to the tip of that sword. Fingerprints? Naturally, they match the prints we got from the younger nun, the defendant. Her fingerprints on the murder weapon? What's wrong? You look really solemn. Is this how it is for Wright? This is what it's like to be a defense attorney? Yeah, I figured it doesn't feel real good. To be honest, it feels more like detrimental to your health. Alright, what is this hole? What is this? There's like a cane? I think it's just a drain. There's not much else here to look at. This sword represents the multiple branches that life can take, all ending as one. I've never heard that one. You know what I think about it sometimes? What kind of life would I have had if I joined the homicide division? Do you think about that kind of thing too, huh? Of course I do. I think about it a lot. Me as a traffic cop, me as a detention officer, me as the Blue Badger. I did it so rapidly there. I guess he doesn't have any plans to leave the force. Oh, so I think I might have already told you about this, but the truth is, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a lizard. You already wanted to become a lizard, right? Hey, that's amazing. How did you know that? So what do you think? I'd make a really great one, don't you think? We just had this conversation a little while ago, Detective. All right, well, back to the main hall. You're not going to tell me about the murder weapon? It's literally one of the things in your building, and you're not going to tell me anything about it. I don't see Larry anywhere. Maybe we scared the poor kid away. His heart was shut tight with a number of psycho locks. I guess I'd have to look for him. What a thorn in my side. Oh, you're back. Ah, Mr. Edgeworth. I came back because I need to ask you a few more questions if you don't mind. But I've already told you everything that Iris, please remember. I'm on your side. You can tell me anything. Yes, thank you. I just finished speaking with the head nun of Hazakura Temple. She testified very clearly as to what happened. She said she saw you stab Mr. Listo Nim with a sword. And one other thing. She said that when Maya Fey began her training at the Inner Temple, you were there as well. What? When I spoke with you last, you claimed that you never went to the Inner Temple. And yet, Sister Bikini says she met you at the Inner Temple that very night. But I didn't go there. I didn't go to the Inner Temple last night. Looks like she's unwilling to tell me the whole truth. I wonder if I'll find the answers I'm looking for if I break those psycho locks. Well, time to find out. Oh, he actually says it. I was frightened. Since I have been handling this case, it's my duty to dig up the answers, understand? Yes, sir. The smallest frame can sometimes bathe a cast in a whole new light. In my years of court, I've seen it happen over and over again. And that's why I'm convinced to search until I have those answers. Now then, is it really true that you didn't go to the Inner Temple last night? Yes, I swear. I already told you that. Yes, you said you didn't go because you were frightened. That's right. If that's the case, then the obvious question is, what were you so afraid of? Iris, I wonder, is this what frightened you so much that you couldn't even leave your own room? Take that! Take that! I found this in the main hall. It is addressed to you. Well, Iris, why are you glaring at me like that? You were scared of the blackmailer who wrote this to you, isn't that correct? Ah! Was it the evidence or the power of my glare that broke that lock? Oh well, I don't suppose it matters either way. But Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? I thought that letter was just someone playing a prank on me. A prank? Yes. After all, if I did have a secret, there's no one to tell it to that would cause me any grief. I wonder about that. Mr. Bikini is like a mother to me. I would never hide anything from her. No, you may not have anything to hide under normal circumstances. However, last night was different. Unfortunately, I don't know the exact nature of your secret yet. However, whatever it is, there is one person you didn't want to keep your secret, or your secret told to. I'm getting the feeling it's going to be Phoenix. Take that! Phoenix Wright. You mean something to Wright, it seems. And I can tell you he holds a special place in your heart as well. That's why you didn't want him, of all people, to know your dark secret. Well, what do you have to say? I should have expected as much, especially from a friend of his. Whee! Unlock successful! I wonder if they also see these words come out as like it says unlock successful. After dinner, this letter was waiting for me in my room. As I said, I was frightened by it. What is this heavenly hall the letter mentions? It is a small mountain shack at the base of Dusky Bridge. A small shack, huh? It's more like a broken down shack that no one would ever want to go near. Where is it on his map? It's around here. To get there, you must follow a small path down to Dusky Bridge. The reality is, to get to the Inner Temple, I had no choice but to cross that bridge. But the thought that such a terrible criminal would be working at Heavenly Hall... I was so scared about the whole affair that I didn't even think about it. Or want to think about it. So this is the secret that you've locked away in your heart. Yes. Looks as though I might have to visit this Heavenly Hall now. Maybe I'll find some sign of this a mysterious blackmailer. In any case, you still claim you never left your room last night? Yes, that is exactly right. Rang lights out at bell at 10 p.m. and then was then in a room until the murder was discovered. The trial starts tomorrow. I promise you, I will win. I'm going to win so that you and Phoenix Wright can see each other again. But when I do, you must promise me that you would tell him your secret. But it's pointless. Why would you say that? Because I may know who Mr. Phoenix Wright is, but he has no idea who I am. I beg to differ. Objection! Is that the murder weapon? Yes, it is. Have you ever seen it before? Yes. Its mystic army was holding it in the courtyard. Hey, Sean. And apparently the head nun witnessed the whole sad affair. She saw you stabbing Mr. Listo Nim with this very sword last night. Alright. I like this piano. This song is just so nice. Like, it has a weird mystery to it, but also kind of sadness. I like it. Right, let's get to this Heavenly Hall. Oh, God. Oh. Why does he have Christmas decorations and the flags from the frickin' when he was working on a hot dog stand? He does draw pretty well, though. Whoa, not much of a view down here, huh? It's still better than the view from my apartment, though. Someone's here. Hide yourself, detective. Oh, why? Why does this always happen? Whenever I find a girl I like, they always run away. I even chased one of them to Japan. Next it's going to be prison, I guess. I'll steal that detective's wallet. That'll get me locked up for sure. I can't do that to someone who looks like he's down on his luck. He's just talking to himself. Shh! Be quiet and listen! I knew it. I shouldn't have done that. I blew it again. Done that? What did he do, I wonder? He's the murderer! Lock him up! Hey, you! What you just said? I got an objection! What the... Edgy, you dirty rat! Blair! Gumshoe, you oaf! I'm sorry, sir. Before I knew, I was shouting out objection. And in a loud, commanding voice, too. I even pointed my finger. You watched too many trials. I'm sorry. Okay, Larry, the jig is up. What have you got to say for yourself? Oh? This is the edge of Eagle River, sir. It runs pretty fast, so it doesn't ice over even in the winter. If it had ice over, Wright would have been in some serious trouble. He would be dead. Not serious trouble, he would be dead. That would have been a hard impact, like, dum, neck broke. Right about that. He would have landed on ice and slid downstream for who knows where. Not exactly what I meant, but alright. Also, couldn't he... If the river is going this way, then that would mean that if he fell down here, he would have gone... to about here. How can people be lost in the river if there's literal rocks here and a bridge you can grab on? Edgeworth Badmouth Gumshoe, and yet he literally points finger at everyone too. True. He's got all the way to Dusky Bridge. It's pretty long, but easy walk. Fell down 4 times on the way down here, sir. Oh, sorry about that, detective. I ate 4 bananas and tossed their peels on the stairs on my way down here. What? So that was what I was slipping on. Careful on the way back up. Those deadly banana peels are still out there. That's a real important piece of information right there, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, it will help us solve the crime. That's a horrible graffiti problem you've got there, pal. You don't know anything, detective. This is art. It's an expression of my bittersweet love for Iris. Larry, do you know the difference between a graffiti and a true art is? It's how the artist defines it, right? I should have seen that one coming. Well, if that's the case, then all of my lunchboxes are masterpieces too. The straw roof is totally covered with freshly fallen powdery snow. Wow, makes a nice image, doesn't it? Always did like the rustic look. Heavenly Hall, I suppose is an appropriate name in some sense. Got that right. Look at that bridge up there. This place is going to be heaven, because that thing is hell. You would do well to remember, Larry, that this is a sacred place to some people. Footprints. Someone has been here recently. What is this festive-looking ornament? It reminds me of my art class in grade school. We used to have a lot of fun decorating the classroom with origami, remember? Well, Oh yeah, you were never any good at it. Really? Yeah, this guy was so bad he couldn't even afford a dollar, let alone a crane. Everyone tried to comfort him, but he would just sit there sobbing. Really? I never would have expected that. Be quiet already. I'll never forget the shame of that day. You want a crane? I can make a perfectly quarter-inch crane without a single flaw. You know, Edgy, nothing for nothing, but a quarter-inch crane without a single flaw is not that easy. Yeah, that's quite a feat, Prosecutor Edgeworth. This is exactly why I hate childhood friends. Hear all of his and Larry's childhood fails. What is this little shack anyway? Well, I just discovered it myself yesterday. And why were you down here in the first place? Come on, I'm an artist. I was looking for a good place to sketch. And this is a great place. It's artistic. It's quiet, it's cold, got no power, it looks like it's about to collapse. Sounds a lot like my apartment there, pal. One thing's for sure, no one is likely to show up and disturb you here. So can I get, like, something to drink? Some hot water, maybe? He's getting all buddy-buddy on us, sir. Quick, throw him in the river. Listen to me, Edgy. You gotta do this. You gotta save Iris. Why are you so sure she's innocent? Because she's cute? Watch your mouth. Anyway, I've made up my mind about it. I'm gonna marry that girl. Mr. Edgeworth is pretending he didn't hear you, so I'm gonna ask for him. Have you already asked this girl to marry you? No, not yet. But I can tell you how she feels by the look in her eyes. She's got this, I really want this man to carry me over the threshold look. I'm sure Nick would be surprised. He'd never imagine I'd marry such a beautiful girl like that. Something tells me he would be shocked indeed. That's why I didn't want her to do anything dangerous. I mean, what am I going to do if she gets hurt? What is this guy trying to say? He lost me about a mile back. If you really want to know the answer to that, we are going to have to drag him into the witness stand. Come to think of it, you still haven't answered my question. What were you doing where were you and what were you doing last night? Oh man, do you have anything else to talk about? With that kind of attitude, you'll never be a ladies' man like me. Okay. Chill out with those scary eyes, I got it. If you really want to know, last night, I saw something incredible. Something incredible? Yeah, but let's not talk about that. Let's go talk about what the good old days. What do you say? Come on, I'll pull you a nice cup of hot water. Why hasn't he realized that I absolutely despise talking about the good old days, especially with him? Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. That's the stuff that Miss Elise was always carrying. But Miss Elise, why? Huh? What is it, Larry? There's something missing from this staff. There's something missing? Oh, I guess I can't ask him about that. Why don't we ask him? Whatever. Tell me the secrets, Mr. Brushman. The night of the crime. Alright, now you were going to tell me what you really saw that last night. Whoa, you're really upset, aren't you, Edgy? Okay, I'll talk. Huh? That was a bit too easy. Yeah, anyway, it was awesome. Never seen anything like it. Didn't Edgeworth stay at that school for only 6 months? I think he'd been there for a while. Like, he'd probably been there before the first school was out. But I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and check on that. Around 10 o'clock last night, it started thundering. I'd been sleeping, I'm not sure for how long. Suddenly, zing! The world in front of me went white. Like I'd just been slapped in the face by my old girlfriend Naomi. And then, it was on fire. The bridge was on fire. Dusky Bridge caught on fire? Are you saying you saw that with your own eyes? Hey, why you give me the evil eye? I'm telling the truth. There are still 3 cycle locks remaining. That means he's still trying to hold something. By the way, Larry, Where were you when you saw what happened? Where, you say? Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, what do I mean? Just answer the question. Well, I was in my own room, by the main hall. Where else would I be? As usual, you are as transparent as an empty jelly jar. The problem, I suspect, lies here. There? What do you mean there? It's impossible for you to have seen the lightning strike Dusky Bridge from your room. Map. Take that! This map of the area takes a look around the vicinity of the Hazakura Temple. What am I looking for? I think that should be fairly obvious. The main hall is surrounded by trees, and it's impossible to see the bridge from here. What? Why didn't you tell me that before? Well, how about it? How about what? How do you feel about talking now? About what? Looks like it won't be that easy after all. You leave me no choice. I'll have to move on to the next step. You weren't in your room at the temple, so then where were you? You don't know that I wasn't in my room. So where was Larry and why was he there? If I read the situation up to this point correctly, the answer is fairly obvious. Very well then, let's test my theory. The place you were witnessing the lightning was here. Take that! The place you saw the lightning strike from was naturally Heavenly Hall. Why would I be hanging out in this old shack? Freezing cold, there's no electricity, and it would fall apart any minute. Larry, how do you know that anyway? How do you know that there's no electricity? After all, it's not that dark yet. Uh-oh. In other words, you have just provided evidence to prove my theory. My theory that you were at least once in your life visited Heavenly Hall after sunset. I have to admit, I'm impressed, Edgy. You're in a total different league from Nick. What the fuck? He would have figured this out as well. That's nice. Now tell me, what were you doing at this cold little shack last night? That's what you call affaire de corps. I think you mean affaire de corps. Could it be that you were waiting for someone? Oh no! You really are a scary guy, you know? I believe that last night you were waiting for this person to come meet you. Oh, he wrote it in a way that made it seem like it was blackmail, but he actually was just inviting her to come visit him. Take that! Oh god. There's only one person you'd wait for in a horrible place like this, Larry. I told you before, don't call me Larry. The person you were waiting for was Iris. Oh, suddenly I don't feel cold or edgy. Not because of my chilly glare. Do you think I got the hots for Sister Iris, huh? Do you have some kind of evidence? You got something that proves that I was waiting for her, or are you just guessing? This is where I draw the line and the end this ridiculous little game. We're waiting for Iris. Here's your evidence. You called her to this spot with a pathetic blackmail letter. Oh, hey! Give that back! You're embarrassing me! What are you doing with that anyway? That's not important. I misjudged you, Larry. What do you mean? Taking advantage of a woman's frailty like that. You should be ashamed of yourself. Oh. First of all, what is this at the top of the letter? It says salutation here. Well, what it said in the book, Letter Writing for Dummies. You're not supposed to actually write that. That's where you're supposed to write, Dear Iris. Ah, I'm so sorry. He doesn't care that he wrote it like a blackmail letter. He cares that he wrote it so badly. So you were here in Heavenly Hall last night, weren't you, Larry? And you saw the lightning hit Dusky Bridge, didn't you? Sorry, Edgy. Sorry, doesn't cut it, you scumbag, threatening a young lady like that. Oh? Wait, hold up. What now, pal? What are you talking about? What threatening stuff? I'll tell you what? You tried to scare Iris by threatening to expose our secret, pal. What do you mean threaten? When did I threaten her? Unless you want your secret to be exposed. That sure sounds like a threat to me, pal. Blackmail, in fact. Give me a break. It's a love letter. Haven't you ever been in love? What did you just say? Love for her burned so hotly it could melt all the snow of this mountain. Oh, then what is this secret you mentioned? Come on, Edgy. Don't you get it? I'm talking about the secret love between her and me. Obviously, she wouldn't want old Lady Bikini to know about it, right? About our hot and sour, bittersweet love affair. All right, then why did you send a love letter in a business letter manila envelope? Give me a break. It's not my fault I didn't have any other envelopes. Yeesh. I think this is the worst Larry has been ever. Like, what the hell? And why were you so quick to apologize, pal? It's because Edgy gave me a scary look like his. What's wrong, Edgy? Why are you so quiet all of a sudden? That's it? That's what all those huge locks were about? I don't understand why you were so defensive. Well, I don't know either. I guess the thing is, you shouldn't expect too much from a guy like me. Perfectly sums up Larry as a character. And I hate him more for it. Like before, he was kind of funny because, you know, he was kind of goofy and all that. But he has just gotten worse and worse over time that I'm just... How can you be friends with this guy? Like, what? Hey, come on, don't let it get you down. But Mr. Edgeworth, this guy's still holding something, I know it. What do you mean, detective? Don't forget what this guy said just a minute ago. If you really want to know, last night, I saw something incredible. He's right. Larry. What? You're looking at me like a hungry dog that just found a bone. What was this something incredible you saw last night? You're going to tell me, Larry, one way or another, or I'll throw you into the river myself. I already told you, didn't I? I saw lightning strike Dusky Bridge. Yes, and I believe it. It was an incredible sight that you saw. But now that I think about it, something doesn't quite ring true. What doesn't? If that's all there is to your story, your heart wouldn't have had those locks. Therefore, Larry, I do believe you saw something last night, something more incredible than lightning. Please don't be more psych locks. What? When? Where? Why? How? Hey, what do you think you're doing? If you hide anything from Mr. Edgeworth, I'll arrest you on the spot, pal. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? And now it's a $5. No. What's wrong, sir? Does this mean I have to do it all over again? Why are you glaring at me like that? Like I'm next to be hit by a bolt of lightning. I've just about have it with this Harlequin. If I really wanted to drag the truth out of him, I'll just have to drag him by the witness stand. To be continued. Gumshoe suffers from that too, but at least he's a character that's redeemable. Yeah, true. I think for Gumshoe, his is more a character assassination kind of thing, whereas with Larry, he doesn't have a character assassination. He just starts off bad and just gets worse. Now, Larry has no redeeming qualities. The only thing he did worse was in Ace Attorney 1, Case 4, when he saved Edgeworth from getting declared guilty. True. Every other time he showed up, he's created more complications than helped. So, how long are we going for? An hour and 30 minutes? We've got another 30 minutes. Let's go. February 9th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. Oh my, Mr. Maurice feels that way about me? Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret after all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Well, worry not. In any case, whatever it was that you saw on the night of the incident, I really, really hope that you do not get together with Larry in the future. Because that would suck, okay? I don't care about him having like, oh, he gets to have an actual relationship. No, fuck him. Mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Maurice is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen you the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Mercelisto Nim, correct? Imagine if, just imagine, you went to court and your defense lawyer asks repeatedly if you've done the crime. How would you feel in that instance? It's like, did you do the crime? It's like, no, I've told you like 4 times I didn't do this. Are you sure? Yes! Believe me! You're my defense attorney, for God's sake. That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You're a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed? Don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe until the very end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth, I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself. What? How'd I get here? I hadn't pressed anything. I must have accidentally pressed one of the things. Whether or not I am fit to do the task I've been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. True, true. 10 a.m. But he's supposed to be a superior prosecutor now after the second game where he's like, you need to find your real reason to be a lawyer so we can find the truth and blah, blah, blah. It seems like he's regressed in this point. But I don't know. Of course, it's the Scottish one. Ugh. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hasgura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like the idea of a blatant waste of the court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. Or, now hear me out here, you need to get an attorney that will do it. You don't just cancel the whole case and then be like, oh, guess it's over. No, you just get a different attorney to do it. You can't just go, oh, I guess we won't do due process or anything. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I'm ready to announce my verdict this time. The court finds the defendant.
Objection!
I knew it! Best girl's back. Oh god, I have to try and do the freaking German accent again. The prosecution stands ready. And you are Franziska von Karma, prosecution attorney, prodigy. I need to remember how to do the voice. It's been a while. Von Karma, you say? Perchance, would you be any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma? Legends are a thing of the past. I am von Karma. That is all. And I need to remember that it's the sort of Italian that I gave her when she's supposed to be German. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purpose of prosecution this case. Oh, you did? Oh, then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I am almost certain that I have seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? Oh, you look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss von Karma, do you have anything to say? I think she's going to say something like that. There is no such weakling in this court, in this man. I'm making her Scottish now. There's too many accents. I've got to do a posh accent, a German accent, and a Scottish accent, while also doing freaking posh sort of nun woman, an old lady, and then my normal voice. I've got so many things I've got to keep track of. There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor office. There isn't, but I'm sure. once before in this courtroom. I told you. This is going terrible. There is no such weakling. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip and...
Hold it!
I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is only still one truth, and that is what I stand here to prove today. This is promises to be a very interesting Mr. Viles Edgeworth. God, I'm sorry, Karma, I've lost your voice. I have expected to face Phoenix right here today. But look at you now. Maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush. You slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Ooh, ah! The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well, Miss Von Karma. Please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed preacher author Miss Elise Dunium. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword given from a stone statue. Histrionic, yeah. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts the photo of the crime scene. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there was a witness to our crime. Very well. Please bring the witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on there. I'm not sure about being so sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain-plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. There we go. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Oh, God. Hello, me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini, you got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Ooh, ah! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with the lettering in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? Going to get your bikinis in a twist? Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris would do anything like that. Let's hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? The murder. That night I was helping Acolyte with their training in a temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up, violently. So I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath in the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. So it was simply a coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in such pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. Well, that sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There is only one problem with this testimony that I can see. I've given her a different voice at this point. Are you not about to fall to the first hurdle? No. Ah, it's a spicy meatball. But you're not about to fall to the first hurdle. Now are you, Miles Edgeworth? Ah, I'm fucking up this accent. Oh. Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination.
Hold it!
What is this inner temple? Well, conversing with these spirits is what we train people to do, right? You'll be asking asking you the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across the dusky bridge called an inner temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. She's been abroad and picked up an accent along the way. Yeah. And how exactly do you help with the process? Oh, quite exacting. Can be performed without a non-supervising. Like a tutor, watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. Tutor with a whip in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple where the murder took place?
Hold it!
Violently? That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. On the night of the murder, was the fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right, raging like a bull in a pigeon. Pigpen. Almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, I was going to finally finish me off.
Hold it!
You left Iris to help? With what? What do you mean? What do you think? The Acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m, so we were starting to enter the training exercise proper. Was it your place to remain with the disciple? Well, the job is simply to watch over the Acolytes so they don't pass away. Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes, yes. She's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions.
Hold it!
So, you returned to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath? My back is to blame for everything. It's do or be done kind of world after all. How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking? My, what a little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? Ah, this is why you have to watch the young ones. What are you going on about? I was... Pathetic Miles Edgeworth. The lowest of the low. I'm doing the wrong voice. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick me sign structured in the defense's bench? Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from a post for too long, you understand, so... It was after I'd finished, I was only getting back, that's why I saw it. The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? You go from my room to the main hall, you have to be a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. And that's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be the truth. There is only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory is and observation skills are. First Edgeworth X Old Bag, now Edgeworth X Bikini. God, I hope not. Well, as you can see, back outside, I act up. Left Iris the Acolyte, returned to Hazakura Temple. It was just after I'd finished that I was heading back when I saw it. Is this the point I need to parse on? Or present something on?
Objection!
I guess it was. A witness, I have to undergo... Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their power of observation and memory, after all. Well. Don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head concho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. Discrepancy between your testimony and that with the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No, she said that. A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back.
Objection!
That is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make it for a much better alibi. That is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have very honest eyes. Ooh, ah! All people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the one being... why am I the only one being wit here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. I've lost the voice. I'll keep going back and forth. I'm losing things. Which means... let's call your memory into question. Dear. You're older than me and you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what I... My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. Then, I suppose it's too early to end this clerk's examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you're going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would be the trick. Then please add your comments about about Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. Well, that can't be true because she gave the hat to...
Objection!
Gave the hat to Phoenix. A witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant who you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had claimed to see the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. No, I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order in the court. Oh, wait. Ah! Sister, this hood, you spare the ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. Stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh? Ishinan is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. This is quite strange. If there is a surplus of hoods, then she should have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness, well, I do not wish to call your testimony into dirt. You must have every little detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after you finished your bath on the way back to the inner temple. The seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Jesus, man, you don't need to get so philosophical in your own mind. Contradictory stimulation. Finished my bath around 11 and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as we were walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and... Iris was... Oh, Mr. Galeese. And with that sword of all things... Mr. Galeese was staying in the corner room, which faces out into the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of a window. You saw a truly terrible state, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Kammer whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in the court. What? Then it would be much like Miss Von Kammer whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. What? What is this? What is this? What does this even mean? It would be much like Miss Von Kammer whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two. Oh, mean splitting him in two. Okay. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge, his imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. Maybe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? They're fighting like siblings. Which I guess they technically are in a way.
Hold it!
How far is the room from your inner temple? Let me think for a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 50 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back that night, did you? That's right. It was heading along the walkway towards the main bridge, or main hall.
Hold it!
You say you heard a noise? Thump, just like that. That could only be the sound of the victim falling. He's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump, just like that. But then, oh, wouldn't this noise you've heard been snow falling to the ground? I never thought about that. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh. The next one who laughs gets a vipping. I need to sneeze. That's me. As a jealous younger sister or older successful brother dynamic. Yeah. Like, they grew up together, essentially. Like, pretty much he was adopted by the Von Carvers. And so, like, it's more that she's chasing after her older brother, trying to get his attention. Like, attention. Rather than, like, oh, I want Edgeworth to marry me kind of deal. Thank you. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I never looked out at the courtyard and...
Hold it!
This is the second time that a witness has testified as seeing the defendant. But some doubts remains in these claims. Hey, I just saw you what I saw. Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to. The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword. Since the beginning, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can. Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that had been bugging me all this time. Please don't keep us in suspense. Her hood. Her hood? That's right, it's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. I thought something about her was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? Ha! You've dug your own grave, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important? Yeah. This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I'd like these new statements to be added to the testimony. My Lord Edgeworth. You want to hang yourself, you need to only ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. Witness, please add that statement to your testimony. No problem. You're sure about that? Yes, after all, we always wear the same clothes. I don't mean because we're poor, you understand. It's our style. Yeah, that's it. There's absolutely no need to explain yourself. Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that's really stuck out. Like me holding a whippet puppet instead of my whip. At least then it might bite you and not someone else. Iris didn't have a hood on, I'm sure of it. Very well. Now, please tell us about the victim, eh? The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor? No, Hazakura Temple is a single-story building, but the mountain itself slopes downwards. Which elevates the main gate at the side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back. They're about the height of a two-story building. I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct? Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room, after all. The stabbing...
Hold it!
What makes you so sure about all of that? Oh, God. It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump, just like that. You're one smart sister. I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. Oh my God, these voices! Again all jumbled up. It appears that... Focus! It appears the witness is not mistaken then. Yep, I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. There's only 2 of them working there. That's fine, Mary Edgeworth. No snappy comeback or remark. It doesn't feel like she's lying. This is very powerful testimony. She claims to have seen the incident in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only 2 things that I can believe right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. Which you don't have any abilities because this is your first case. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. To 11 p.m. Oh.
Objection!
Right, I forgot about that. Impressive logic, that's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you're overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind and take another look at the autopsy report? Bless me. The autopsy report. The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right. It says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion? Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of a window down to the courtyard below.
Objection!
Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Stoneham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a bloodstain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Fuck it, whatever. Your whip just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no... I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, but I'm sure Your Honor is very well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually the loss for the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. God damn it. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. But that's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion, then. The victim was thrown from the window with the sword in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Order! I must admit that this is a probable perversion of events. I expected no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. Huh. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove our suspicion on your part and tell us only the facts, please. The witness, please. Remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please, give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we have finished here. With the whip? Oh boy. Alright. When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I never have seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted you, can't blame me, can you? And when I woke, Mr. Amy was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. Again. At that time, what was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked by seeing all this, of course. So I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let us be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed?
Hold it!
Think carefully, this is very important. It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but This testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room. Oh, God. And then dropped into the courtyard. I think this approves with far well, Mr. Miles Edgeworth.
Hold it!
So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it has splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. But I do press further the point. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed, but now you're saying that you saw the victim bleeding? Well. I say that's what I saw is what I saw. But maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling, it was more like it came out. A witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. Plunged to the hilt, that is impossible.
Objection!
Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so, but there are too many contradictions here. You're a reliably bad witness, is what I'll say instead. What do you mean? Make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene where the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to the hilt in the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from her body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain. Explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how you look at the defendant, she doesn't appear to be strong enough for that.
Objection!
It doesn't appear. Oh, what the meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I choose so. And many men would agree to do that. The objection stands. I whipped like a little back here, I must admit.
Objection!
This isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at the branches, it certainly wouldn't have come out smoothly. We also have the problem with the amount of bleeding. It's true that when the blade is left in the body, it adds to the plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
Objection!
That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victims was stabbed with the sushishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide smoothly and may still sometimes stop the bleed loss.
Objection!
I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You still got more? This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust in the hilt all the way, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of this sword. No! Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising so many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys, I know, could maybe manage one, but if that... What does it all mean? We have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is... the weapon used to kill the victim was not the sushishito. What? A foolishly fool idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. I've missed your fools. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, it's because Mystic Amy was holding it. Exactly. However, if we reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such thing. The impression left by the scene was too strong, and that is what influenced us. It has influenced us to believe that the Tsushishito was the murder weapon. Order. So, maybe the Tsushishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if the sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Oh, another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there? What is that here going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean. I think maybe I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible! What else? What else could this old woman have seen? I saw the murder weapon around 11 p.m. and after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk at Dusky Bridge, less about 5 by using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Witness, please. Please, tell us about everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not the best shape with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is a photograph. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple, and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in the winter, making it perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please.
Hold it!
You're sure about that time? Yes, I was worried about it after all. Why was that? Because I had a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night, could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple. Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least. Please continue, sister.
Hold it!
You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct? Right. The one who trampled me. It seems she is the type to hold a grudge. There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent her to the bridge. Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have his cell phone on him. He had forgotten it at home, apparently. What a naive boy, as always. Naive boy. Ooh, he's calling him a boy. Ooh. She fancies him. Which is odd, because she's younger than him, but whatever. And not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too. Anyway, I was really scared, and I was taking him a while to get back. So I thought I'd go through the main gate for a spell. As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited. That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls. Now, you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived? Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. So, she had already gone to discard the murder weapon and they returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at that time? Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used. Ah, I see. I never thought of that. That's right. I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Snow? Yeah, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. There wasn't any snow on it. Curses! It seems that highly likely the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh? How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge for a snowmobile?
Hold it!
In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. There's a reason for that. Have you ever got a moment for me to explain? I think that's why we're asking the question in the first place. It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as could be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, like that. Crunch. Crunch. I haven't been able to find the courage to ride anything since. Anyway, the killer must have used it.
Hold it!
Refresh my memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth?
Hold it!
While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place here. Oh, and what would this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of this? Why go to the evil river to dispose of the murder weapon when there were other methods? Too many unasked questions. Your response, Miss Von Karma? Ooh-ah! Turning to me to help for the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself for once in a while, Your Honor? What? She's over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could not have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there is surely a problem with this testimony. Now all I have to do is start poking holes in the flawed testimony. Okay, so the problem is that she short tracks, right? The problem is she couldn't have come back on the snowmobile because there's only one set of tracks. Here we go. You see? You only see one set of tracks coming, which means that it wasn't there when it was snowing. Again. Like it had already been taken.
Objection!
I admit the photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if that witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Irislev has the Kura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this is the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading to the bridge, and those from coming back. Ah, you're right. Oh, you're forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? I see. While she's on the right at the river, the snow stopped, leaving the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Majorshepard? Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks. Yes. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss von Kammer, that is impossible. Would you care to explain? Why, there would be a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction. No need. The evidence will do all of the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge. In order to dispose of the murder weapon, the ongoing tracks were erased by snow. Or so claims Miss von Kammer. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by the snow. Where is the weather report one? 7 to approximately 10:50. Lightning 10 to 11.
Take that!
Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report of the Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. There, weather report. Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks to have made at that time to have been covered up. Ah! I got a big brain. Order, order. Very well then. It looks like this von Kammer's claim has been snowed in. Shut up with your bad jokes. Ooh, ah! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this, then. When is the weather report ever correct? Ah, no, you got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast, this is actual data. Oh, ah? Forecasted data, all weather reports are the same inaccuracies. It may still have been snowing that day in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at the Hazakura Temple. I am in the wrong voice. Yeah, it stopped snowing around the Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far, there's no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. Ah, you can't back now, can you? Such a perfectionist, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Wherever your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Probably the murder scene. We get a picture of the murdered body. Yeah, because otherwise there would be snow on the body. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right. Proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I'm referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Donim. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. gonna... In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be 2 sets of tracks. Ah! Order. Just what are you... Just what are you trying... What are you suggesting, Marriage Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all the facts point to. That night, someone used a snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. Whee! Look at it go. From the tracks left, it could be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still I just had a thought, what if Larry took the snowmobile to get to Heavenly Hall and left it there? Oh, we'll find out. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped, thus the return tracks remained. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night of the question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which could only mean that night, Iris used a snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. Maybe. That sounds right. But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to the Hazakura Temple. I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have failed to just see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to the Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw, it was covered in snow, too. But that isn't possible. Order in the court. What does this all mean? So then, what is the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant, and then when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it at the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should have been 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used a snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought this simple snowmobile would cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I've got nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know. But then, what still leaves out the same problem? Only if there was a witness who could testify to seeing the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out working perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze her ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in it. Well, we know just such an idiot. Unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have been wandering out in the subarctic night. Your Honor, actually there may be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there were 2 things about him that do come to mind. Number 1, he's an idiot. Number 2, he was out that night. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And to the second being, this individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you are talking about? They're just calling him an idiot.
Take that!
This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Leduc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, a disciple of Elise Donim. A student? Interesting. And why was he out wandering about outside in the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. We're withholding information already? He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that could move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunately unreliable-looking man was exactly what he saw? I intend to extract that from him, right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he's in the gallery for this trial. It would not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. I'm going to make you squeal. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in the recess. Oh, and now I can finally have my break. God. Or stop stream, because Jesus, doing all those voices is hard work. It's not that it's tough on my throat, it's just tough keeping track of all of them. I mean, yeah, it's still, it still wears on your throat after a while, like any voice would. But because I have to quickly switch between going Scottish to doing German to doing posh, it gets very confusing, so I end up making like a Scottish posh person, and then a German Scottish person, and then like going a posh German Scottish person. It gets a little confusing. So, But I think that's been 2 hours, so we shall stop there. And finish this off on Friday. So, look forward to that. We did manage to get 2 parts of this case done, so that's great. We shall pick this up on Friday. Tomorrow we'll be back with more Baldur's Gate 3, so tune in for that, please, if you can. As usual, like, follow, subscribe, do that bell notification so you know when I stream, and if you want to help support me, there's links to Patreon and tips. They do help a lot, no matter the amount. And if you do become a patron, you get your name added to the patron list, where I thank you for the continued support, and I greatly appreciate it, such as I do with Hirokuni. I also give you a shout out like that, and you'll be the best guy, the best person ever. Get your fist bumps and all that. But until next time, y'all take care. Have a nice rest of the day. I'll see you all tomorrow around about the same time. And until then, y'all have a nice rest of the day. Bye, Sean. Bye, everyone else that might still be here. Have a nice night.